You broke the first one, and now there's a second one. As I said to you, and we were speaking a couple of weeks ago when you broke the first case, I said maybe there's likely to be more cases coming out.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the way sometimes these stories go. And the trend that we're seeing coming out is the manner in which the school handles allegations of this nature, in that they would prefer to do it internally than take it externally.
What did this second case, what did the parent in this second case actually tell you? Just the key points from your interview with them.
As you heard from the father there, his son had woken up with one of his peers. So these are two 12-year-old boys, with another child's hands in his pants, fiddling with his genitals. He immediately reported it to the house father, or the person responsible, and then this was taken, the following morning he reported it to his dad. As he explains, a frantic call, very distraught child saying, "This is what happened to me." The father couldn't reach the school for the whole of that day, the Sunday. They had been repeatedly trying to call him, and got to the point where he says he created a WhatsApp group and threatened them. "We need to speak to you. It is unacceptable." Only at 8 o'clock that night did he have first contact with the school related to this incident. In the following days, the school, the way they believed they had dealt with it, is that they had separated the boys from one hostel to another hostel, and they had believed that the matter had been settled.
Yet again, seemingly, the Drakensberg Boys Choir School management team and the teachers using internal structures and intentional systems to hush the issue. Looks like they are worried about their image, but there are some legal responsibilities.
Absolutely, and that's one of the strong points coming through with this issue that we're seeing here, Dan. There are provisions in the Sexual Offences Act as well as the Children's Act, and there are requirements imposed on people. There's a group of people that are together, but among them are educators, that when you are faced with allegations of this nature, and it doesn't matter what the age of the perpetrator and the victim is, there is a duty upon the school to report it, either to a social worker, the Department of Social Development, or the SAPS.
Even if you've done your internal process.
Childline, which deals with matters like this, has a guideline on its website, and it goes as far as saying it is not for the school to conduct its own investigation. It's not for the school to conduct its own hearing. Leave that to the professionals such as social workers, because you then raise issues such as secondary victimization. You might compromise a potential criminal matter.
But from the first case now and the second case, Barry Bateman, one is getting the sense that the Drakensberg Boys Choir School is not complying with what you've just explained.
They're not complying with what I've explained. In the incident we reported on 2 weeks ago, they held their own internal disciplinary hearing and investigation, where even the father of the boy who had been accused of wrongdoing was in a position to cross-examine the accuser. In that instance, they had cleared the child, they had found that the incident was consensual.
Okay, very briefly, what's next now?
Well, I think this is now all about what the authorities have to say. I mean, I think there's potential. I'd heard from the KwaZulu-Natal Education Department that they were conducting their own investigation into the school to establish whether or not they are complying with the required regulations and law.
Okay, we'll wait for your next exclusive one on this one. Barry Bateman, my colleague, the ENC reporter, following that story coming out of Drakensberg Boys Choir School. Very disturbing. Another second case of alleged sexual misconduct. And apparently, the teachers there, the educators there, didn't report it as they are supposed to by law to the authorities.